I am here today for one reason. That is to help all of you win more often. Whether you define winning as making more money, improving your personal relationships, or increasing your own level of happiness. However you define it, that is the one goal for today, that when you walk out of here, you have a concrete tool, method, for winning more often. We'll do that by talking about mental toughness. For the last 15 years, I have been fortunate enough to work with literally some of the most mentally tough individuals to walk the face of this earth. And I have learned two very important things. First, it's helped me to put together a true definition of what mental toughness is. What I've learned from working with all these individuals who have proven their mental toughness is that mental toughness is, in fact, the mind's ability to stay focused on and execute solutions, especially in the face of adversity. I'm going to say it again. Mental toughness is your mind's ability to stay focused on solutions and to execute those solutions in the face of adversity, when it's tough. Second thing I've learned is the most mentally tough in the world share one common characteristic. That characteristic is RSF, a relentless solution focus. The mind's ability to stay focused on solutions, especially when the going gets tough. I'll give you an example of what RSF looks like. One of my favorite examples, a fellow by the name of Nando Parado. 1972, October 13th, Nando gets on a plane with 44 of his rugby teammates. For 7.5 hours, they're in the air, and then they crash into the Andes Mountains. Upon impact, only 27 of the original 45 remain alive. Nando, on that mountain, refused to let his mind be overcome with the adversity. He refused to let the problems be what he focused on. Instead, he was relentless about searching for solutions, keeping his mind focused on what solutions potentially existed. After 17 days on the mountain, an avalanche hit. And so, solution for Nando at that point was, let's turn the fuselage of the airplane, what remained of it, into a makeshift shelter/hospital. After 40 or so days on the mountain, Nando realized, we're not going to make it. We're going to starve to death on this mountain. And so his solution was, let's use our perished teammates to keep us alive. Many of you probably recognize the story as I say this piece. The famous book and movie Alive, where actually, to stay alive, they ate the people who had already perished. After 62 days on the mountain, Nando realized, hey, we're not going to be saved. We will have to save ourselves. Rescue mission has been shut down. It's now up to us. And so in sub-zero temperatures, the most deadly terrain in the world, he decided he was going to hike off that mountain and save the remaining 16 people. And that's what he did. For 10 straight days, he kept his mind focused on one solution at a time, refused to let problems get into his brain, and he took one step after another until he finally took one final step, looked up, and saw other people. The mind's ability to stay focused on solutions when it's tough. See, when it's easy, you don't need mental toughness. We all know the importance of mental toughness. I ask the question all the time, how many of you believe mental toughness is important? I don't need to ask anymore. Everybody's hand goes up. But why in the heck is it so hard to develop? See, the thing is, we all know we need it, but it's so hard for us to have. Those of us who can learn how to get it, those of us who have are those who have the edge. So I'm going to tell you why it's so difficult. Take a look at this picture. I'm going to let you look at it for 5 seconds. Now that photograph is an illustration of why mental toughness is actually so difficult for us to achieve in our own lives. When we look at the photograph, 90% of us, the number one thing that jumps out is the pipeline running right through the middle of that beautiful landscape. Got the desert, got the mountains in the background, the snow caps, all kinds of beautiful things in there. But what our mind focuses on is the problem, that which is wrong. I'll give you another example of problem-centric thought. By the way, this is public enemy number one. This is the number one reason why all of us know we should be mentally tough, but when it gets tough, this is why it's hard for us to actually live mental toughness and use it as an asset. Use it to make our lives better. Use it to increase our success, our health, and happiness. Problem-centric thought is the mind's ability or tendency to focus on problems as opposed to focusing on solutions.